Hey friends, welcome back to Llama Mama Kayla's Yarn Tube. I'm Kayla, and today we are going to build a mermaid. I have all my pieces here. I have hair. I have a mermaid body. I have some arms. I have a frilly waistband. I have her bra. I don't know what else to call it. Bikini top, maybe. And her two bottom tail fins. I did forget to get one thing to put her arms on with, but we will do that shortly. Now, I don't know if I should start with the hair or all the small pieces. I guess I'll start with the small pieces first and let the hair be last. I think I can do that. So, and I'll be using these long plastic needles. They come from Amazon. Someone gifted them to me, and I use them all the time. I'm going to stick these over here because I will be using those. But right now, I want to put on my tail fins, and I'm just going to put them on right here. So, what I'm going to do is, first off, I'm just going to hot glue these together right here. I'm just going to put a dab of hot glue to put these together to make that V. And I'm just giving that a moment to dry for just 1 second. And let the glue cool down so it can get good and hard, and then I'm going to glue these on. Her arms, I want to make them movable, so I need to find the fleshed tone, skin tone color that I used to make her, and I think I've taken that to another room because I was finished with that yarn, so I removed it from my desk, but now I need to go find it. Okay, so that's dried. It's gotten pretty cool there. So I'm gonna put glue up in this area, and then I'm just gonna stick it to her. And I've got her body laid pretty straight, and so I'm just gonna stick it to her right there. So I'm gonna line this with glue. And yep, just hold it on there for a moment. Give that a chance to dry. I probably need to put something up on top of this paper so that I don't glue stuff to it. But I don't know what yet. Probably need another one of these, but for this purpose. This come from Dollar Tree. And it's a little cutting mat, but it's perfect for laying my hot glue gun on. And my hot glue gun does have a stand, but, you know, those do fall over. It's not always perfect, so I just lay mine down. And this is a perfect mat for laying that on there. Now, if you hadn't caught the videos before this, where I was in the process of making the mermaid and the pieces and all that, I did use the book Plenty of Fish in the Sea by Stringy Ding Ding. This is a mermaid from her book. And so I have made this mermaid plenty of times. Plenty of times. And the color I used for her body is the Premier Sweet Roll Fruits in Blueberry, and that's why her name is Blueberry. And I used Premier Aqua for her hair, and I used a Erin color that is a Red Heart Super Saver Big Jumbo Roll for her body. And I hand painted her eyes because I wanted them to be a bright, pretty blue, and I love how they turned out. I painted them. There's a video, one of my past videos shows that. The mail is driving up, so I'm gonna pause this so you don't have to hear Phoebe barking. Okay, so while I paused the video for a minute because I knew Phoebe would go crazy, I went and found my yarn to put the arms on with. So sorry about that. I saw the mail coming down the road on my security camera, and so I knew Phoebe was listening to Have a Fit, and of course she did, but you didn't have to hear it. Okay, so now I'm going to do, that is good and on there and just looks really, really good. Okay, so now I'm going to do the waistband, and I'm going to start, let's see. I'll try to get this where I can see it better. And I'm just going to be wrapping it around the body, just like that. And so I don't want to stretch it too much because it's going to fit nicely. And I'm going to just line it up across the top of this. So actually, I'm just going to put some glue right along that first row, starting this, and just lay this on there. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm deciding what I want in the middle. Excuse me. Alright, I'm just going to put a row of glue right here, and then I'm just going to lay this on here, little sections at a time. And I'm not going to stretch it, I'm just going to leave it loosely laying there. Okay. Alright, and just let that little section dry. And while that's drying, I'm going to lay this piece on here and see how that is going to look. And it's going to go just something like this. And again, I'm not going to stretch it too much, but I do want it even lined up with her, you know, face. So I think I'm going to put the middle, like, kind of line it up between her eyes. Is what I'm thinking. But I also want to be able to see. Yeah, I think that's a good place for it. But I want to be able to see where I'm putting that glue so I don't put it too far, you know. So I think I'm just going to put some glue right here. And just put this down. Again, I'm not stretching it, I'm just laying it on there. And I didn't want glue to get on my needle, so I pulled it on out. Yeah, so I have that lined up with the middle between her eyes. It may be not quite centered, but it's centered enough. So I'm going to come back down. Well, I guess I could just go ahead and glue this part down. Like I said, I don't want to stretch it too much because then it'll put a hole in her bra. We don't need that. She's not that kind of mermaid. No, I should have known better than to do that. But but I gotta lay it down now. I'll have to add some more glue around the edges, and I'm being careful over here too. Let me put a hook, I mean not a hook, but a needle in over here to say not to go past that way or this way. And I did get glue on my needle, so I'm going to lay it over here. It'll probably pull off once it's dried. Now, I got to get some glue up under the edge of this. I'm kind of just going around it, letting the pieces dry. Gotta hold that one down just a little bit. And while I'm over here working, I'm going to go ahead and put a line of glue right here. Alright, I need to hold this back for a moment while I put glue in my glue gun. And again, I'm not stretching it, just kind of letting it lay down on there. This is called the waist frill or ruffle, something like that. So I don't know that I'm going to glue the bottom part down, just this top part probably. I'll check it when I'm done and see what I think it might need. I need a little bit of glue underneath this to roll this on down. Like I said, I've made this mermaid so many times with so many different hair colors, hairstyles, and so many different skin tones and thins. You know, I've made it solid, but I really like the variegated tails better. The thin tail. What did I call it? I don't know. But I really like the variegated colors. It just gives it more interest to me. Alright, this little bitty part right here just needs a little touch of glue. just to get all the corners and edges down really well so that they're not coming up. Okay. I do need this big, huge needle in a moment. Now, I purchased this at Walmart in the sewing department. It's actually called a upholstery needle used to, you know, redo chairs and couches and stuff like that. But I use it for putting on arms. I'm going to put just a little bit of glue right here, not too much, but enough to hold that down. I want to be careful with that. So when you're using hot glue and amigurumi, the trick is to use not too much, but not too little. And I know that doesn't tell you anything, but you have to really just play with it and learn what works. And after you play with it a few times, I wouldn't use it on your best projects. And by all means, if you're able to sew, then go ahead and sew your project together. But if you're like me and some of my other subscribers who have hand issues and we can't sew, then don't let that stop you from, you know, enjoying amigurumis. You can use hot glue. And they will come out just as cute, just as fine. The trick is using the right amount of glue. Not too much, but yet not too little either. And so you may have to just make a few pieces and experiment with that until you figure out what works. Because you don't want to work really hard on a project and then mess it up in the end. Because once this glue hits this acrylic, it melts together. It melts this yarn to that yarn, and it's there. This may need a little bit more up under there, but I'm going to wait until a little bit later with that. So I'm just laying this across here to see what happens. Like I said, I don't want to stretch it. So I'm just adding some glue. And letting it lay down kind of naturally, you know. Excuse me. Let me get a drink while that part is drying. So yeah, I'm just letting that kind of lay down on there naturally without me pulling it and stretching it. I just kind of lined it up to go where I needed it to go. And this is going to overlap in the back, and that's fine. But I did use a hook size larger because I did want this to reach all the way around. After I had stuffed the body, if I had used the same hook as I did making the body, it probably would not have reached all the way around. I've had that to happen before in one of my first one or two, and then I figured out after making this a couple of times, hey, go up on the hook size and then I won't have that problem. And so it took me a couple of times to figure that out. Okay, so I just need to kind of hold that on there a little bit. All right. It's looking good. I'm happy with it. I just got to check out her little bikini top to make sure it is down there good. It needs a little bit of glue right here. Nothing too much. Now her hair is going to be a whole nother story. But we're going to try to make it work. I mean, we will make it work, but it is, you know, a little more to it in putting it on. Okay, I think this is down. Let me see. I keep thinking it might need a touch, and then I think, no, it's good. Okay. All right, so now I need to let that just dry for just a moment. Okay, I think we're going to put the arms on next. I think it'd just be easier to put them on without the hair. So that's the plan. Now, what am I doing here? I don't know why I feel like I'm sitting lower today and not high enough. But I need this to move out of the way a little bit so I can have space here. Okay, I have my yarn. I'm just going to cut me a really long piece of yarn. Okay, so where do I want my arms? I'm going to put them right here. I'm just going to put one right here at the edge of that her bikini top. So I need to thread my really long needle. I hear lots of birds outside. Sounds nice. We're supposed to have like major rain all this week. We haven't had it yet. I did ask that little device that lives here by my desk, and she said we're probably going to get rain about 7 o'clock tonight. Let's see, I'm going to try to go in and just go over. I don't know why the needle's not wanting to go in. That's really weird. But I'm just trying to pull. I'm going to leave some yarn there to tie it off in the end. Now, I unthreaded my needle. Leave it to me. I hope you're all having a great day and enjoying something that you enjoy today. Doing something that brings you joy. Okay, so I'm just going to go in right at the edge of that bikini top, bra top, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to try to come out over here on this side. Sorry, I know I'm getting off camera, but it's sometimes hard to just maneuver this. Oh, let me just see if I don't want it to split thread. I want to go through a. Okay, let me see if I've got that kind of in the same place over here, and I feel like I do not. I feel like I did not. So I'm going to take it out over here and go up. And it may be that the bra is not on straight. Ever thought of that one? I think that's much better, but yeah, the bra may not be exactly straight because I was just trying to get it on lined up with this. I wasn't really concerned about getting it straight over here, but let's see what happens. And before I tie anything off, I can always take it and change it. I pulled too much. I want enough here. I want enough left over here to tie it easily with and not have trouble tying it. Okay, so I'm going to take this needle and go through a stitch just like I did over there. I'm going to have to turn this an awkward way. And now, let me get a good look at this before I fasten anything down too tight. I got some little debris on there. Okay, I'm going to take my needle and go right back through that hole that I came out of over on this side. And on this side, I'm going to try to come out the same hole that I went in. And my arms are still floppy right now, and that's okay because they should tighten up. It came out the exact hole without me even really trying. Okay, so the arms should tighten up as I pull this through. Let me see. It tightens up this arm good, and this arm good. And then I'm going to tie these two on really well as I can. Okay, so this is kind of hard to get on camera just right. Right now, the main concern is getting it tied tight, not getting it on film. And if I don't get it tight enough, I'll just have to cut it off and let Big Daddy redo that tonight, tie that for me. But let me look. Her arms are on there and they're tied pretty well. They look like they go back a little bit, but they just go at the end of her bra. And so that's the way they are. And so I'm going to tie this another time or two to give it extra strength there. Okay, I need to trim that off a little. And I'm just going to take one of my needles here, my plastic needles, thread this extra, and just go in here up under the arm, and I'm going to come out right over here. And then I can push that down so that yarn pops up, clip it, and then the yarn goes back down into the body. Okay, so her arms are on here well. They do move. You can move the arms. They're not, you know, positioned where they can't be moved. So there she is. Okay, now we need to work on that hair. And I'm possibly going to give her lips also. But the hair, okay. So looking at my hair, this is the outside, and this is the inside. So this is the part that would be glued down. And here's the bangs. So we know that goes in the front. And I'll straighten out all the hair in a bit. Right now, I just need to get it positioned. Let me see how well I can do this on camera and, you know, get it right. If I have to go off camera, it's because that's what I'm going to have to do to get it in the right position. So I want her bangs to come down, you know, a little bit on her forehead so she doesn't look like she has a giant forehead. Alright, so I'm going to put a needle in this right here and kind of say that's a good position. I'm just trying to see if that's the place I want it before I actually attach anything. Now this hair is all tangled up, but I'll straighten that up in a moment when I go to actually, you know, attaching it all down. I'm probably going to glue the hair down a little ways. Not all the way, but a little ways. So the main thing is right now looking at her face and seeing if I have this in the right position. And I would say yes. This one comes down a little bit. And that one comes down. And then the 4 short bangs are just right above her eyes. So what I need to do is, trying to get this where you might can see also, I'm going to put some needles all around to hold this in place. And then I'm going to take the 2 out in the front and kind of scalp her back. And add some glue right there and then put it down. Alright. I need to have a glue stick on standby. So this is what I'm doing. I'm adding glue all right here, and I'm going to put it on the hair piece, because if I put it on her head, I might get it in a place I don't want it. So I'm not putting it on the bangs yet, just the circle that I worked off of. And I'm just going to start right here. Coming up. And then I can push that a little bit down. Load my glue gun. And add a little bit more glue for the circle only. Okay. Now the hair is not glued down yet, just the wig cap part. Just this part from here up. And I'm going to give that a few minutes to dry. Okay, I was giving that a moment to dry and let that glue cool. And so I'm going to take these out. and work from the back of the head up so I can glue the wig cap down, starting here and coming back. Alright, and so I want to get that wig cap just coming down without getting all that hair up under it or anything like that. And I see that I can, you can stretch your wig cap if you need to. And I'm going to try to get a little more glue right there and then pull that wig cap on down. I ran out of glue. Okay, and then I'm just going to pull that on down. And see, her hair is a mess in the back, so I'll need to straighten it out and get it lined up and glue some of the strands down. That's what my plan is. Okay, so I'm gonna give that my moment to dry. Okay, now that the hair is on there and it's pretty much dry, it could use a little bit more, drying. You can choose how you want to style your hair. If you want to pull some back and you could pull 2 or 3 strands from each side and put a flower or a bow or something in the hair like that. I've done that before. I've just done it different ways. This time I'm going to start with these 2 side pieces and glue them just a little bit down. Not all the way. I want them to look a little bit curly, but I also don't want them sticking up straight up like that. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue along this and pull it down. So I'm trying to figure out how to do this with, my hand situation. So it comes just on the, outside of her eye. And this one over here, it's going to do the same. Now on her bangs, I don't want them all the way down, just a tiny bit, about halfway or something like that. And you can put it where like her hair's parted. If you want to, you can just, it's your choice. Your doll's hair, your project. You make it your own and fix it ever how you want to. I just pulled my bangs down a little bit because I didn't want her forehead to look so big. And then I left the ends up so they do curl up just a little. Okay. So that's how her bangs look. I'm gonna look at it straight on for a moment and see. I like it, and so I'm gonna take this strand of hair, and I'm going to glue it down. I can always add more glue later, so I'm going to glue it down just a little bit. See how I like it. And I do want these pieces right here on the sides to lay, you know, straight down. I may have to overlap some of that. Okay, this might be difficult to glue and put down and video all at the same time. Keeping it on video is what I'm saying. Okay. I think I'll do 2 strands of hair over here. And I'm not overlapping it, but I'm putting it pretty close. Same thing, I'm just pulling it down pretty close to that one where it's touching but not overlapping. Let's see. If I do 3 on each side, how's that going to do? Okay. And when I get to the back, I'm probably going to have too much hair. I mean, I'm just guessing. I don't know. Sometimes they do turn out that way, and sometimes they don't. But I do need to glue some down, otherwise you'll be able to see her bald head here, like that. But this way, it gives it glues it down so you can't see the bald head, but she does still have the long curly hair. And I like the way her end of the hair looks kind of like a rose there. Okay. And then sometimes if you have one like this one, I could put a touch of glue right here to kind of hold that on, and I think I will. It just kind of holds that up to help it, to help it have that little rose look, you know. Let's see if this one needs any. It definitely could use some right here. I'm going to try to be a little bit more careful. Yeah, it's kind of hard to do all this at the same time. And not wanting to, you know, burn myself again. That does help with those curls a little bit. Just to hold it up where, you know, it does have that little rose look. I might end up doing them all like that. Just because I like that it's holding it together there. And keeping that look. I hadn't done this on a doll before. I haven't glued the hair up to make it keep that rose look. But I just really like that. Okay, so I did 3 on that side. I'm going to jump on over here on this side and do 3. Let's see. I have these three, I'm going to work with these three right here. And this is hard to get it in a position to film it. I kind of want it to look, you know, a little bit like it's on the same head on both sides. All right. And you can see I do use a lot of hot glue. Okay, strand number 2 for this side. And I want it to butt right up against that, just not overlap. Alright, and now I'm on strand number 3, and I know I'm probably getting in awkward positions for the camera. I don't know if I glued down far enough on that one. I'll see in a moment. Alright, and the same thing on these 3. I'm just going to make sure that this is like a look, you know, is keeping that little rose look. This just needs a touch of glue right here. Not much on this one. So this is what I'm going to do all the way around. If I come to anything, you know, different, or where I'm having to change up what I'm doing, I'll certainly turn the camera back on and film that. But you probably don't want to watch me glue each strand of hair down. Or do you? Okay guys, I'm at the back of the head and I have the last 2 strands to put down. And they're just going to lay down and they're perfect. I love the way this has worked up. And so I'm just adding some hot glue and laying the strands down. Let me see. I try not to bend her neck too much, and I'm also trying to keep her fin tail, her little, keep from messing those up. I don't think they would really mess up, but it's just an awkward position to hold her like this. Alright. And then one more strand of hair that will just come down right here in the middle. And if you have any gaps, I'm going to show you what you can do. I have a little gap on each side of this, but I think I can fix that. Not that it really has to be fixed, but let that dry for a moment. And you can see that gap, right? Well, I should probably glue this down a little better. And I still have to go back around, and I'm going to go ahead and do all my little ends to make it hold the position of the flower. So I'm going to do that to all the ends. I've done 3 on each side, I believe. So when you have a little gap like this, you can put a small bit of glue back here and then just kind of push it together. And so that's what I'm going to do, is just put a tiny bit of glue. And then just push it together and hold it. And actually hold it until it dries all the way. And probably push it harder than you really think you need to hold that together. So I would pause it right here so you don't have to watch this long part, except I don't want to take my hands off of it until it is hardened enough to glue right there. And I did pull out my lips, so I'm going to give her a mouth. I just got to look at them and pick which color to give her. So that did the trick over here, and I can do the same thing right here, but this part hasn't cooled down quite enough, so I'm still going to just hold it down. Like I said, hold it closer and harder than you really think you need to, just to make sure that gap stays closed and it hardens that way. And I'm going to look back over the head. I think this is the only places I had a gap. But I'm going to put a little bit of glue right here and close that gap in. See what a difference that will make? Let me just pull you down a little bit closer so maybe you can see. And then when I put the glue there, I'll just close it. Okay, and I'm going to try not to put too much glue. But enough that it's going to actually stick, you know. Should have done this in sections. I think I should have done it in sections. And I'm just trying to hold it super tight to give that glue a chance to, you know, bond in there, cool off, and set. And I am pushing with both of my hands. I'm kind of pushing that together. I don't know if you can really tell that, but that's what I'm doing. I love the way her hair turned out. Looks really cute, and I think once I get those little curls at the bottom set with just a touch of glue. Now, you see as I'm doing this little side over here is puckering up. I think you'd get that anywhere all the way around the head if you pushed on it and tried to separate it. But overall, it's not big gaps. Only this was, and that still needs to be held together a little bit. So, let me see if I can just pause the video. Okay, so now I'm back to gluing the curls to make them stay in a, you know, a certain position. And so I'm just putting a little bit of glue, and I'm not gluing the whole curl ring. Although this one feels like it might need that. None of the others have felt that way, but this one is just giving me a little bit of problem, so I'm gonna Try to glue that one a little bit. A little bit more because it was not wanting to act right. So I'm just going all the way around the head, putting these curls in the position that I want them, and then just putting a touch of glue to fix them, to hold them in place. Okay. And also I don't want to like glue it to her arm, so I'm trying to be careful with that also. Making sure there's no glue back here that can glue that to anything. And like I said before, making this hair was not hard, but it was just time consuming. So I had to take breaks and work on something else and then come back and work on the hair. So I didn't just sit and work on it continuously. I did take breaks along the way and work on some other things. But it does take a little while to do the hair. Now, some people could just sit and work on it continuously and get it done very quickly. But I had to give my hands rest along the way. And plus, I just had other things to do. All right. There's a couple of these that just feel like they need a little extra glue on this side. I do want to hold that one up just so that, well, I don't guess I feel any glue, but there's a little bit right there and I don't want that to stick to anything. More glue. Okay. Now I might have glued that one a little bit funny. Oops. All right, let's see. For some reason that one is wanting to stick to my hands. It's not glue, it's just my hands. I have just glue and stuff on my hands. All right, roll over just a little bit. I'm probably going to go back and check each one in the end and just make sure that they don't need any glue, extra glue from the center part of it. Oops. Okay. Now I'm going to move her around a little bit so I can okay. I'll put some glue right here. I'm putting just a tiny amount of glue that you can't even tell it's really there. But I am going to put some glue right here in between these two pieces. I'm almost done. I'll check back in with you guys in just a moment. Okay, I went through my bag of lips here and I picked out the lips that I want her to have. I've picked out this first, but it doesn't show up too well on there. And so I tried some different colors on her, and those are the ones that I like the best. Oh, let me see. Trying to put all these back in here real quick before I knock them off in the floor or a cat jumps up here and has a field day with them. Okay, so let me see if I've got my mouth. I want it kind of centered. So I'm going to say this is centered. And I want it about right there. Let me just see what it looks like any further up. No. Definitely right there. So I'm going to put just the tiniest bit of glue on the back of these lips and put them on there. And I'll have to go back and get the corner where I'm holding it. And I'm not squeezing glue right now. I'm just smearing what's on there. Okay. And that's what I'm doing. I'll have to get this corner over here a little bit better. But I can start picking off any of these little strands. But guys, there she is. And I love how she's turned out. I love her little mouth. And her hair is really cute. It's hard to see it like it is, like this. But her hair is really cute. She turned out awesome. I'm very proud of her. And we're going to see how tall she is. I have a measuring thing right up under this board, so excuse me. Let me get her lined up just right. And she's lined up, laid out here. Let me see what she comes to right here. 17 inches. So she's 17 inches tall. And I'm gonna have to take some photos of her and put on this video so you can see her better, because right now you can't. It's an awkward position. I don't think you can really see all of her that well. But I had fun making her, and I loved using the Premier Fruits Sweet Roll Fruits on her tail, because I think that just gave her a lot of character and some interest instead of using just a solid color. I like variegated yarn on amigurumis. Some people may not, but for me, that's what I like to do. And I just like the interest and how the pattern worked up. Putting all my needles back on here. And so I'm going to go take some photos of her and add those to this video so maybe you can get a better look of her. But I like her. I really do. And you can go back and check, you know, and just make sure your strands are glued down the length. I didn't want all mine at the same exact length glued down. So I kind of did them each one kind of down, up a little, down, up a little. Not every one on purpose like that, you know, I didn't. But I did make sure that I wasn't going just all the way down the back of her head. And I kind of gave a little variation there of how much glue, how much of the strand I actually glued down. And all her little hair, I've got it rolled up to it looks like the little roses. And I put a touch of glue on each one just to, you know, make sure it was holding well. So like that one I think could use a little bit more. So I'm just curling it up a little bit more. These up here did really well. I could put eyelashes on her, but I don't want to go overboard. I think she's beautiful enough the way she is. I do have some eyelashes from the Dollar Tree that I could put on her, but I really like the way she is already. And then her arms move. All right, there she is. Let's go take some photos of her. Friends, thanks for hanging out with me today and watching Bluebell come together as I was putting her together. She turned out very beautiful, and I love the way she turned out. I'm very happy with her. So remember, it's a beautiful day to crochet, and I will see you all in the next video, friends.